Have you ever heard of Cyrus the Great? He was the founder of the ancient Persian Empire, and honestly, history has a really hard time figuring this guy out. On one hand, he's remembered as a ruthless conqueror, but on the other, a humanitarian saint. His legacy is a masterclass in contradiction. So how do we even begin to make sense of it? Okay, so look at this. On one side, you've got the empire builder, a military genius who carved out one of the biggest empires the world had ever seen. But then, you've got the humanitarian. His way of ruling was so revolutionary that a 2,500-year-old clay cylinder he left behind is often called the world's first Declaration of Human Rights. So, what was he? A conqueror or a liberator? That's the core question, isn't it? How could one person be a relentless conqueror and a pioneer of freedom at the same time? Let's break down how he pulled it off. First, let's just talk about the sheer scale of his ambition. I mean, there's absolutely no question that Cyrus was a conqueror. He didn't just inherit this massive empire, he built it from the ground up, one battle at a time. And the speed of his expansion was just mind-blowing. In a little over a decade, Cyrus went from being a minor king to a true emperor. He toppled the powerful Median Empire, he seized the legendary wealth of Lydia, and then in 539 BCE, he captured Babylon itself, the greatest, most famous city of its time. So what was the result of this lightning-fast campaign? Well, an empire that stretched all the way from the Mediterranean Sea to the Indus River. We're talking 5.5 million square kilometers. To give you some perspective, that's bigger than the entire European Union is today. This was conquest on a scale that was just unprecedented. But here's where the story takes a fascinating turn. Because conquest was only half the story. While his methods for taking over were pretty traditional for the time, his methods for ruling were anything but. Cyrus wasn't just building a bigger empire, he was building a completely different kind of empire. And this brings us to the other, really famous side of his legacy, his policy of tolerance. See, in an age of absolutely brutal conquest, where winning usually meant slaughter, destruction, and slavery, Cyrus did something totally unheard of. He didn't just spare the people he conquered, he actually respected them. This whole philosophy is captured perfectly on the Cyrus cylinder. He didn't just put up with other religions. He actively supported them, helping rebuild their temples and even returning their sacred artifacts. He let exiled peoples like the Jewish people in Babylon go home. In the ancient world, it was not done. And his policies were really systematic. He made a point to respect local customs and leaders. He freed people who'd been held captive. He apparently outlawed slavery. He even used the imperial treasury to rebuild the holy sites of the people he just conquered. This wasn't just being merciful. This was a completely different way of thinking about power. Now, this radical approach leads us to the great debate that historians have been having ever since. Was all of this a sign of genuine compassion? Or was it just a brilliant, calculated form of political control? So, what was really driving him? The idealist view says Cyrus was a true visionary, a ruler who genuinely believed in things like human dignity and freedom. But the pragmatist view argues this was just brilliant statecraft. I mean, think about it. A population that gets to keep its culture and its religion is way less likely to rebel, right? A stable empire is a profitable empire. So was his mercy a moral principle, or was it just the most effective tool he had for control? But regardless of what his motives were, the impact is undeniable. This whole model of governance, this crazy blend of conquest and compassion, created a legacy that people have been debating, admiring, and studying for over 2,500 years. And so, the legacy of Cyrus is this powerful duality. He's forever stuck being both the conqueror and the liberator. His story really forces us to look past simple labels and think about the complex relationship between power, tolerance, and expansion. Which leaves us with a question that really echoes through history. What's the true measure of a great leader? Is it the size of the empire they build, or is it the humanity they show along the way? The story of Cyrus the Great suggests the answer is far from simple, and maybe that's the most important lesson of all.